A lot of people in my audience and your audience, and we've all gone through this too, you want to know like all the steps. Like, what is the steps? Like, if there was an Amazon influencer how to run a live stream course, I probably would have taken it. There wasn't one. But the thing is, I'm only going to know by trying different things, and some things aren't going to work. And I'm going to keep trying things until I run out of ideas. Once I run out of ideas and it still doesn't work, then we'll regroup. But I'm committed for now.
It's the Inspiration Place podcast with artist Miriam Schulman. Welcome to the Inspiration Place podcast, an art world insider podcast for artists by an artist, where each week we go behind the scenes to uncover the perspiration and inspiration behind the art. And now, your host, Miriam Schulman.
Well, hey there, it's Miriam Schulman here, your curator of inspiration, and you're listening to episode number 320 of the Inspiration Plays podcast. And I'm so excited that you're here. Today, I'm going to be joined by my friend and partner in crime, Jen Lehner. She's been a recurring guest on this podcast for our special Kvetch and Kvell segments. And if this is your first time tuning in, Kvetch is just a Yiddish word for complain, and Kvell is a Yiddish word for something that we want to brag about or that we want to praise. Before we dive into that conversation, a lot of what we talked about is the willingness to try things and to fail at them. And that is something that is really going to set apart the people who are going to succeed in artpreneurship or just entrepreneurship in general. People who are willing to fail. And that is why this episode is called Fail Better. I actually took the title for this podcast episode from two sources. So there is a Samuel Beckett quote. Samuel Beckett was an existentialist who I think he was writing his plays in the 1940s or 1950s, something like that. And the quote goes like this: "Ever tried, ever failed, no matter. Try again, fail again, fail better." This quote was originally published in Beckett's short piece of prose entitled Worst Ward Ho, his second to last work ever published. And by itself, you can maybe understand why this phrase has become a mantra of sorts, especially in the glamorized world of startup founders hoping against pretty high odds to make it, because a lot of them do fail. But even outside the business development niche, this quote is pretty inspiring. I actually became acquainted with it through Pima Trojan because she gave a commencement speech that she titled Fail Again, Fail Better. And the part of that speech that really inspired me, and perhaps you've heard me mention this before in the podcast, which is that failure is kind of like walking through waves in the ocean. So when you go into the ocean, if you can think back, if you had ever gone to the beach as a small child and those waves knock you down, they knock you over. They can even knock you over as an adult. If you're in a really strong current, those waves can really knock you over. I remember when I had the lucky fortune to go to Costa Rica and learn how to surf, I was constantly knocked over by those waves. And when you get knocked over and the sand's in the bathing suit, it's pretty uncomfortable. We're not exactly going to talk about surfing, but even if you're just walking into the water, the deeper you go, the waves still keep coming. And they're really just as strong, but they don't knock you over anymore. And that's what it's like when you go along in your entrepreneurial journeys, is that you still have failures. You're just able to handle them better. Now, today I'm sharing with you in this conversation with Jen, I'm sharing one humorous story, which I considered editing out, but we left it in there for you. Figured keep it authentic. And the other second story, and I won't spoil the first one for you, you'll get it in today's episode. And the second story is about how much I've been failing making these Amazon live streams. So it's something I was very hopeful about, and I'm still hopeful about it. We're still experimenting and trying to do different things, but I've had quite a few failures along the way. And I don't always come on here on this podcast and talk about my failures. So I think it's important for you to hear about those failures too, because a lot of times when you follow somebody like me or you follow other people on social media, we're only talking about our successes, and you should know that we have failures too. The biggest difference between people who are successful and people who are not is successful people are willing to try things that don't always work out. We're willing to try things that unsuccessful people are not willing to try. We're going to fail, and we're going to fail hard, but we're going to learn how to fail better. Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to the Inspiration Place podcast. We are doing another segment of Kvetch and Kvell, and joining me in a partner in crime is the none and only. Did I say that wrong? The one and
the
only.
none and only.
The one and only Jen Lehner. Welcome to the show, Jen.
Thank
How
you.
are you?
I am so good now that I'm here with you, my friend.
Yeah, we just finished doing, I just finished doing a presentation for your members.
It was a huge hit. They loved it. All the feedback already is just like, wow, that was so great. No big surprise there.
So let me just tell them what they got, just so we can kind of plug you. Basically, I've launched the accountability pods inside of my group, and I also have taught 2 other membership people how to do it. I don't charge for it. I don't know why. I should totally be charging member owners though, like a consult fee, don't you think?
You easily could.
Easily. I mean, I kind of feel stupid for not doing it before. Not you and Tracy, but the other person I did it for. I'm like, why did I do that for free? It makes me feel resentful.
I think, but the goodwill that it brings, and then maybe if that person has a decent sized audience, like there's other things.
Well, for that, no, I taught the owner, not the group.
Oh,
right. That's
well,
I'm
ask
saying.
them to teach you something. Do they have anything to teach you?
Yeah. I mean, basically, I'm going to call in that favor. Hey.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, I did go into Jen's group as a freebie for the members, how to implement their own accountability pod system. And she offered it to her whole mailing list for free if they join live. If you missed it and you want to get it, it's inside her VIP. What's the link for that?
Yeah, frontrowvip.com.
Front Row VIP. And there were a couple artists who showed up who weren't from my audience, who said they're going to use it like for their stuff. So yeah, if you want that, you can go to Jen's link. There's a lot of cool stuff inside her group.
Thanks, Miriam.
Okay. We're going to Kvetch and Kvell.
Oh, yes, we are.
So I'm going to start with my Kvell, which is about the accountability pods. Although I kind of already kvetched. I think that was like that always happens.
No.
Unofficial kvetching.
No, we're not counting that one.
Good, because I don't like to think of it that way. All right. So my Kvell is my accountability pods. We called it a challenge, but really it was a contest. And the contest was about creating a welcome sequence. And for my listeners who don't know, when you join an email list, you need to welcome them. That's what a welcome sequence is. Could be one email, but could be more. So many people got welcome sequences done that wouldn't have done it. And they said it was because of they really appreciated having that support system in place. And then I called it a contest rather than a challenge, because a challenge is let's all get it done, right? But a contest is whichever pod does the best job got a prize. And they got a mastermind session with me. So
love that. That's so great. Yeah. I'm totally going to borrow that. I love it. And like everybody needs, even if you have a welcome sequence, you need to freshen it up. Like mine probably still says that I have 3 kids at home and a dog who died.
Right.
My dog died like, it's not funny, but my dog died like 4 years ago. And my welcome sequence, I think they're still, and then my kids are off at college, except for one. So yeah. So everybody could use that contest,
I really need to edit my own because it's like the cobbler's kids have no shoes.
Oh,
like
always. Totally. Yeah.
Everything I'm criticizing everybody about, I do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, you shouldn't do this, this, and this. And they're like, yeah, well, we were just copying you.
Yeah. No, it's just unfortunately that is the way it goes across many industries, I think. Like the designer may have a disaster living room because really it's just filled with all their samples and swatches, and they haven't had a chance to redecorate their own home in, 10 years. So they still have, I don't know, whatever.
Hey, so Jen and I were talking so much about the accountability pods that I thought you should hear from my artist incubator members what their experience is like.
Just had our first pod meeting, and I can already tell this is what will keep me accountable to keep moving forward on this dream. Thank you so much for this missing piece.
And I have to really give a shout out to the whole pod because we worked, all of us, really hard on this, and we're really scheduled with each pod meeting leading up to the deadline, how far do we have to be, what do we need, and giving each other feedback. So it really, really was a group effort.
You know what, Miriam? For me, the win is that it's done, and I feel super duper duper good about my welcome sequence. I feel really good about it.
We decided to take turns being pod captain, so I'm captain until the end of June. This is already awesome.
It's like a think tank. And
Beautiful.
you have your little idea and it just blossoms. Everybody gives their opinion. It just takes it to the next level. And it's nice to be able to talk to people that have the same interest. My husband is great, but he doesn't know about art. He's not into it, and now I'm surrounded with people that are not just artists, because you do meet artists out and about, but these are artists that have a goal like me. So we're all trying to push forward and help each other and grow. We have a common interest. Everybody's paid to participate in this, so they have a vested interest.
I know those accountability pods, they've been way more successful than even I could have hoped for. And if you want to be part of this, well, you can check out the Artist Incubator during our boot camp that's happening in September. The boot camp is absolutely free. Go to schulmanart.com/boot camp. Sign up for our 3-day boot camp and make sure you also choose the VIP program. The VIP program, it isn't free, but that is the way you can get some one-on-one time with me and really get to know the community and see what it's like. That's not in your budget, or if you're not ready to make that kind of investment, no problem. Just do the free version. Again, that's schulmanart.com/boot camp. It'll be 4 days of some of my best training to help you get started on your path to artpreneurship. Now let's get back to the show.
Okay, my turn to Kvell.
Yes.
I kind of have 2. Okay, I'll just do the one and then you tell me, because you know what the other one is because we just discussed it. But this one, this one was so great. I mean, this experience. So I was getting on a plane recently, the day that everything melted down, actually. When we had that tech meltdown.
Yeah.
And all the airports. It was like the worst day that you could fly. And so my flight was delayed like 4 hours, and everybody was delayed, and everybody was kind of like in a bad mood. And mostly, though, I was impressed by how chill everybody was. And this man in front of me had 2 giant bags of M&Ms. So as we were going to board the plane, and he hands one of the giant bags to the ticket agent, and he says, "I know it's been a tough day. Maybe this will help. Maybe this will sweeten it up." And she was like, taken aback, and her face just lit up. And I got goosebumps watching. And then I knew what he was going to do with the second bag. So then we kept walking down the corridor, and we get to the place where the crew is. And the first flight attendant greets him, "Hello, welcome aboard." And then he hands them the second bag of M&Ms. He says, "It's been a tough day, And I was like, now that is how you do it. That is how you be a nice human. That, I don't know, that was so elevated on so many levels. And when I texted it to my girlfriend, I have a little chat group with my 2 college roommates every day, all day long. And I told them what I saw. And my friend Meg said, "Isn't it funny how just witnessing an act of kindness like that lifts you up, right? Like I wasn't
Yes.
even the one who did it, but the endorphins were just pumping, right? Like I was like, that's really cool.
But doesn't it also make you want to carry around bags of M&Ms to give away?
Absolutely not. I will eat every M&M. Like, no. But I will. I am going to copy that. I actually meant to do that on my next flight and then I totally forgot. But I am going to do that.
You're right. I would eat every last M&M as well.
Yeah. I can't have
Ozempic wouldn't stop me.
No, nothing would stop me. Like I'm just a sugar addict. I've come to terms with it, and I can't have sugar around me because it calls to me like a voice, like a real voice. Like here I am, come and eat me. And I'm so. But if it's not in the house, I'm good. Not within arm's reach or in my car. None of that.
Do I tell our listeners about my illegal Mexican Ozempic that I did? Look at her shocked
Miriam.
face.
Well, now you have to. Like,
or I could edit this part out too. That's my podcast.
It's kind of hilarious.
It kind of is. I'm dying to tell the story.
And you're done with it, right? So like,
I am done with it.
Nobody can come for you, right? So
they can come for me anyway. I don't.
All right, I do it because it's pretty crazy.
All right, I went to Mexico. Jen was supposed to go, by the way.
Okay, move on.
I went to Mexico for a destination wedding, and I didn't pack my tweezer, which I won't go into too much detail, but women in their 50s know what you need a tweezer for on a daily basis. Let's just leave it at that. So I was losing my mind. Okay, I was losing my mind because I didn't have a tweezer. So I went, left the all-inclusive place.
But wait, I just learned something. Like that's how you say. I say tweezers, like the way you would refer to pants. Like I need my tweezers. But you said a tweezer. So is that the way it's supposed to be?
I have no idea. You know what? Somebody write it in. Anyway, I had to go to a pharmacy for the tweezer or tweezers. We're not sure. Which they had a tweezer. I really didn't like the tweezer in the pharmacy, by the way. I had to go to a different store for a better tweezer. Do you know how that is? Like the tweezer, just, it's not going to grip those hairs.
I'm like tweezer agnostic. It's whatever.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't care.
It doesn't grip the hair. I'm very sad. Okay, so I went to a Mexican pharmacy, and all you see, it's like the drug candy store. They had Viagra, and they had big signs, Viagra and Adderall. And I said, "Oh, do you have Ozempic?" They go, "Sí." ¿Cuántos boxes do you want? I was like, I'm going to take one because I don't know about this stuff. It was like $200 and something, by the way, which I think it's thousands here. And it was not the kind you inject. It was a tablet, which made me very suspicious.
Mm-hmm.
So I brought it back to New York. I did not want to take it while I was in Mexico because I was scared I would have a seizure or something.
You should mention that you were just trying to drop like 5 pounds for a reunion that was coming up. It's not like you were, correct?
Yeah, I'm 5'2" and I weigh 144 pounds. So my BMI is actually quite high. So it's not like, whatever. So just those are facts, but whatever. I don't care anymore. I'm very happy weighing 142 pounds, which I still weigh after Ozempic, and I weighed that before Ozempic. So just to not bury the lead. Okay. So I wanted to lose 5 pounds for a reunion. And so the first day I took half a tablet. It did pretty much nothing, but I wanted to make sure I didn't have a side reaction. And then I learned that actually you're supposed to take it on an empty stomach and wait 30 minutes to eat, which I didn't always do. And then it still wasn't working. And then I found out, well, actually, you have to wait a few weeks for it to build up in your system. But then I think it was working because I would get nauseous if I ate a regular amount. But you know how we were talking about our sweet tooth? So I learned how to work around the Ozempic, was that I would eat less vegetables, so I would so I wouldn't get nauseous, so I could enjoy whatever it is I wanted to eat.
Oh my God.
I
think this
really
is the part of the episode where we say, warning, do not do this at home. This is not advised by the host of this podcast or the creators of this network.
Okay, people always ask me, how do I have the courage to do things like start a podcast or whatever it is. And it's because I'm just stupid. I do stupid shit all the time. Like, I'm naive and I'm ADHD. I don't have good impulse control. I don't think things through and I just do it. So what can you say?
We'll say impulsive. We're not going to say stupid because,
right.
like MIT stupid, Wall Street broker stupid. Yeah. Best-selling author stupid. But no, you're impulsive, maybe
I'm
just
very
a little
impulsive
and brave. And I think it's but maybe I'm not going to say the Ozempic thing was brave. And again, we're going to say, listeners,
it was
do not buy fake Ozempic. Do not buy fake Ozempic.
It's real. It just didn't work.
don't buy Ozempic in Mexico without a prescription, and especially when you don't need it because you're skinny. So I'm just saying. Okay, yeah. All right.
I lost 2 pounds and I gained it back because I figured out how to eat more on Ozempic because I wanted to eat. Like I like eating.
Right. No, I get it.
It's not about how full I am. It's like I like to eat things, So what?
So what? Enjoy. Life is short.
Life is short, and my partner likes me this way. So
he sure does.
Carbs.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I've witnessed how much.
And my son, I don't think I've talked about this on the podcast. My son is getting married to a beautiful woman who is very full figured. So what my mom taught me about men liking skinny women is a lie. No, she's gorgeous. She's beautifully full figured.
But did she listen to this podcast?
None of my family listens.
Okay, my
Thank
Lord.
God, because I can talk about them.
My mother-in-law called me fat. My future mother-in-law.
Fat.
I know you did. I'm being funny. I'm just being funny. I've seen her. She is beautiful.
I adore her. I never thought I would like my daughter-in-law. I love her.
I'm excited for you. Mazel tov times 1,000. It's in August, right?
Yes, it is. It's coming up. It might even be before this airs, though. I don't know when this is airing.
Oh, well.
I don't know if I'm in Israel while this is being
aired. Right.
So let's talk about business because they did not tune in today to hear Miriam's Ozempic story. Hey, I just wanted to jump in here and let you know that, yes, we are hosting our boot camp live. And it is happening over 4 days in September. We don't want you to miss it. It is totally free for you to join unless you upgrade to VIP. And I know that the Artist Insight panels are always my most popular episodes here on the podcast. So if you want to be able to join that panel and ask the artist yourself your question about really what's the key to their success, you are going to be able to do that. You'll be in for a real treat. So everything will be available on demand for a week, unless, of course, you upgrade to VIP, then you have extended access. We do hope that you'll join us. This bootcamp is for artists who are either just starting out or maybe you've been at it for a while, but your sales have plateaued and you're feeling kind of stuck and you need a kick in the pants to get it started again. Maybe you need an insight or an aha about what it is that you need to change to make yourself more successful. So to join us, go to schulmanart.com/bootcamp. That's schulmanart.com/bootcamp. All right, my friend. And now back to the show.
Well, but my Kvetch is not really business, but I have a second Kvell that's business. But okay, wait.
Save your last Kvell for last.
Okay, did you do your Kvetch? Yeah.
No, I didn't.
Oh yeah, do your Kvetch. Then I'll do my.
Did you Kvetch?
No, I'll do it. I'm ready.
No, do your Kvetch. I did enough talking.
All right, here's my Kvetch.
About the Mexican Ozempic.
And I hope I haven't done this Kvetch because it really is one that occurs for me often, and I hope I haven't done it on the show before.
Go ahead.
Tell me. So it's when I've told you in real life, so don't confuse it with it being on your podcast. I mean, I've kvetched about this before to you in real life, not on the podcast, so you might get confused.
Okay.
But I can't stand it when people call old people cute, precious, darling. I will give you an example. I mean, you know what I'm saying, but like I was watching an influencer in the vegan space, right? She's a very big name in the vegan world and I love her to death. So I still love her, but she had this 100-year-old physician on the show And this woman had traveled, even in her 80s and 90s, to Afghanistan and all over the world to help people with her medical expertise. And she was just the most incredible woman, right? And to be a doctor, a woman at 100, right? Like just the fact that she was able to do that back in those days. And oh my gosh, the host was like, well, you're a feisty one, aren't you? Oh my God, you are a feisty one. You're just full of sass. Aren't you spunky? I thought I was going to die. It was so
ageist.
It's so ageist. And
also sexist.
Well, she's a woman, but I mean,
well,
they were both women, but you can be sexist.
You can be sexist and be a woman. Because would you call an old man cute feisty?
I don't think so. I don't think
you would.
Aren't you feisty? Okay, but it's along the same lines of what my initial Kvetch is that, like, I think I started noticing this with my mom when she was sick and before she passed. And, my mom never really looked old until she was sick. And then she did look older. And whenever I would take her for her doctor's appointment and stuff or whatever, people would tell me, oh, your mom is so cute. No, my mother is a smart, accomplished, she's a lot of things, but it's just like, oh, aren't you darling?
But that's I think that's more,
I've seen it with men too.
Really?
No. Yes. Watch it with old men. They'll be like, oh, he's so cute. Oh my gosh, he's precious. So I'm just saying to all your listeners, Can we all just not refer to old people as cute and precious and darling? Save that for the 2-year-olds. And maybe I'm 55 and I'm, I look at things in a different light. I never would have thought about that twice when I was in my 30s. Never. I probably called old people cute too. You know what I mean? But old people aren't cute. Like they're to be respected and that's it. That's it. That's my Kvetch.
Okay. All right. So I have a Kvetch. So I've been trying to get these Amazon live streams to work. We've been trying all kinds of different formats, which 1 week we talked about, we're just not getting the kind of traction we want to do, but we're committed to figuring this out. I feel like Edison trying to design a light bulb. We got to figure this out. So we have so much content in our bank from when I taught online art classes. I thought, okay, let's take one of those clips and it's like a 10-minute clip uploaded to StreamYard, which is the limit on StreamYard is 10 minutes of a demo. And then we can put in the carousel all of the products I'm using. And it crashed because, it crashed because, not because of the software, but because Amazon stopped the stream right before the end. I had gotten, if it's a 10-minute video, maybe I got 8 minutes in or something. And they were like, oh, too much pre-recorded content.
So they know absolutely when it's live and when it's pre-recorded. And
apparently the robots do.
And you're only supposed to have a certain percentage of.
I don't know if it's because the video itself was too long and it was like I hadn't done enough live stuff. So my point of all this, though, and this is why I feel there was a lesson for the audience, for you listener, is the first time I did a live stream, it crashed because I invited a guest and the guest dropped the F-bomb. And right after she just dropped the F-bomb, the whole thing crashed. I think we may have talked about this.
Not with me.
Talk about this at all? I thought this was a different Kvetch. Okay. So the first time we did it, it crashed also. And then it's like, okay, well, I'm not going to have guests for a while and we'll do different content. And we've just been kind of struggling to figure out what is it that people want to see from me on this channel and still stay in authenticity. So 1 week we did one that was about productivity. I think people did like that. I shared my planner and the pens I was using and things like that.
Love that.
I can't do every single week. So last week I went behind the scenes of a museum exhibit, showed different paintings I saw. Yeah, I loved it, but I don't think it was enough shoppable content, or as my VA said, overconsumption items.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm determined
stick with it. No, I love it. Stick with it for sure. Right.
So listen to what we're doing next week, which again, listener, this is in your past. So if you want to go see what we tried, you can go to schulmanart.com YouTube.com/live streams, and you can see all my past ones that I've done. So the one I'm discussing will be there. Okay. So we're going to broadcast from my living room. So it's kind of going to be behind the scenes because, heck, I have plenty of stuff I bought from Amazon in my living room.
Amen.
You know, right?
I mean, it's all around us. My gosh.
Well, I know. So I'm going to basically, it's kind of like fireside chat and record from my living room. And speaking of that, what kind of microphone would you recommend for that? I already bought 2 different ones, but I think I might need to buy a Jen recommended third.
No, I'm not the person to ask.
You're
I've been
not?
through. No, I mean, I used to have if you want the lav mic, then it needs to be a Rhodes. I mean, that's like they're the best. RODE.
I think I have one that I didn't put together and maybe stepped on, or maybe I never put it together. So the parts are somewhere, and yeah.
But Miriam, like your doohickey, I guess you want to be able to walk around, but like I think it would be fun for you to take this microphone and like mine's clamped onto the table, right? Go into your kitchen table and it swivels and you could just be standing up, you know what I mean? And you could be like this, like walking around, and you could, there's some range, and you could turn it as you go. And
this one is plugged into a
mine too. It's in
I'm going to show Jen, but I think I don't even know how to use my mixer, to be honest. So I really am not even using it anymore.
That's a pain in the
Zoom.
tuchus.
It became too much of a pain because I really did. I think it only gets used when I'm recording a solo. It goes through there instead of through Zoom.
Well, I've got a little mixer, and you're right. It adds a whole other third component. Like just get the Rode Lav, or you already have one, and test it out. And
I'll probably have to buy a new one because I don't know where this is from the move.
Well, they're cheap.
Okay, so that was kind of my kvetch, but the point is that a lot of people in my audience and your audience, and we've all gone through this too, you want to know like all the steps. Like, what is the steps? Like, if there was an Amazon influencer how to run a live stream course, I probably would have taken it. There wasn't one, but the thing is, my brand isn't about beauty, fitness, and home decor. So it's like, how do I make this work? But I'm only going to know by trying different things, and some things aren't going to work. And I'm going to keep trying things until I run out of ideas. Once I run out of ideas and it still doesn't work, then we'll regroup. But I'm committed for now.
I love it. Yeah, I keep doing it. I think it's great. Okay, I had one more, Kvell.
I love it. Go ahead.
It is Stream Alive. So you and I just played with that in our previous live stream or in our Zoom. And this is a software, and I've been using the last few times just the free version. But basically, it works with Zoom or Google Meet and some other stuff as well. And it's like a plugin that really ramps up engagement. If you're doing a webinar or a meeting, you could use it internally. And basically, you ask questions of the audience, they respond in the chat, and it will either show you like a word cloud, or you can pop up a map of the world or just North America or just your state or your province and ask, where are you coming in from? And as people type their cities into the chat, it populates on the map. So it's really cool. When people answer a question that might be like a poll type related question, the poll shows up on the screen as people are typing in. And one piece of feedback that we got was from someone who said, this is so much better than trying to keep up with the chat. That people, because you can see what everybody was saying on the screen when you ask the question. And, a lot of times, especially if you have a lot of people on a webinar or in Zoom, the chat is just flying. It's really hard to keep up. So very cool piece of software. We're using, again, the free version, and it's called Stream Alive. So
that's
check
awesome.
it out.
I'm definitely going to use that in my next boot camp. Which I think will be coming up after this airs. So if you want to sign up for my next boot camp, it's schulmanart.com/boot camp. If you've already been through boot camp, we change it every single time. The core teachings stay the same, but the bonus that I do for VIP changes. And it's really a great way for you to get coaching with me for just the cost of doing VIP if you want to get some personalized attention.
Or you can sign up for
a commercial.
It's great. And I was going to say, or you could sign up for it like I am, just so you can reverse engineer Miriam's genius marketing. Like if you're interested in how she
True.
does stuff, signing up for somebody who really has a dialed in launch. I mean, we don't want people who aren't interested buyers to flood your launch, but I'm just saying I'm going to be signing it up because whenever I find a smart marketer who's having successful launches, I want to see what they're doing and what's working.
I do that too.
Yeah.
I join other people's stuff and see what I like and what I don't like.
And because
trying
things
ice
are
cream.
changing all the time, like this tool, Nika found this Stream Alive tool in somebody else's launch and she showed it to me. And, so.
I have one more Kvell. There's nothing to do with business. Remember that vegan restaurant we went to?
Yeah.
I went there the other night. They had hazelnut vegan ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so good.
Why are you Kvetch? Is this a Kvell or a Kvetch?
No, it's a Kvell.
Oh, I was going to say, what's bad
that's
about
a Kvell. No, it's
Yum.
amazing.
It sounds amazing.
This is what I'm telling you. Like I'm the only person who's ever gained weight on Ozempic. I was like, I'll just eat less vegetables today. Like I'm filling up too fast on that.
This is bad.
I need room for my ice cream.
Right. No, you're so like spoiled living in New York. It's the truth.
I kind of am.
You really are.
Yeah, that's why I think maybe the behind the scenes in New York City as the Amazon Live may actually be a good thing. Like, do you have any other ideas for me while we're here? Like, or what I could be doing on that because you're good at coming up with ideas
for your lives.
Yeah,
I mean, honestly, you said, well, I'm not beauty and I'm not, and I'm not all that, but I've seen crossover, and if anybody could pull it off, it would be you, right? So like. I think you can open up your beauty box. I mean, when you are an influencer or whatever, you are a,
I rather think of myself as a de-influencer rather than an influencer. I like to be a contrarian.
All right. Well, whatever we're going to call you, your face is everywhere. You got to smack it on the landing pages. You got to show up for Zoom. You have to, and guess what? Kind of all of us are having to do that too, right? So be live stream ready. What does that mean? You got to have your tweezer or zers. You have to have your lip liner, and you have.
Is it tweezer or tweezers? Please let us know. You can comment on Instagram under wherever you see our reels,
please,
or Shulman Art, and you can also comment on the blog post if you're watching it that way. Or whatever, to send me a DM. I'm at Shulman Art, SCHULMANART. I want to hear from you. Which is it, tweezer or tweezers?
Yes, please. But yeah, I mean, that's a whole show right there. Like you need how to be live stream ready. So then you can jump into your favorite skincare stuff.
Well, the most Amazon product is in my bathroom.
There you go. So
if I can get a Wi-Fi connection in there.
We'll do a hotspot when it's never strong enough. But another one like New York related would be like, the best New York stuff you could buy on Amazon. You don't have to come to New York for it, right? Like, because we all think of you as like New York, and so I don't know what those items maybe are.
Well, I have right now, I actually have 3 Yankee caps, each in a different color that I bought on Amazon.
I love the Kelly green one. Do you have a Kelly green one?
No, I didn't. No.
Oh,
I want to get the army green one.
Yeah, the army green's always good.
Right now I have a white one, a black one, and I have a beige one.
Yeah, I love it. And so how cute to be on the show with that and like a blazer. That's like a cute outfit. And then, or a hoodie you have on your New York hoodie. I don't know what, but it's like a I Heart New York episode.
Okay.
But I definitely think the camera ready thing ties into business. I mean, you've done the books, right? Like,
yeah, the books, they don't really.
It's
people, only nerds like us like the book ones.
Right.
And then I had somebody yesterday who was a really good sport about it. I'll shout out Melina Palmer in that episode. I think it's before this one. So people can go listen to that, which by the way, her book is good. This one.
Oh,
yeah.
It looks fat. It looks long. Is it like a big print or is it, it's normal?
No.
It looks really big from here. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so she came on and I always ask my guests, what's your number one thing you want to promote? And she said her books. I said, so when she jumped on Zoom, I said, hey, if you're game, would you like to join me over do this as Amazon Live? I'll send you the StreamYard key. She said, sure. So she was a good sport about it. So we'll see what happens. We didn't tell anybody we were doing it. So there wasn't really a live component because nobody knew we were there.
Right. Cool.
But it's there.
No,
So we'll see.
I'll be thinking about it. I've got an influencer account over there and I've been meaning to try the live streaming myself, but
you should
add it to the list of things that
I want to
do.
Right. All right. So what last words do we have for our listener before we call this podcast complete?
I would just say, do we want to do you mean last words, like summary of what we talked about?
We could, what's like the lesson today? I mean, I think for me, what I would share is like the lesson is not to be afraid to try new things. Maybe not Mexican Ozempic, but the other things we talked about, like,
yeah, well, we talked about,
stream alive.
Yes.
On your meetings and Zooms, Amazon live streams.
Mm-hmm.
And
I would say
pods.
Oh yeah, the pods for sure. And I would just add, like, think about one of those random acts of kindness that you could bring into a part of your day. Your symbolic bag of M&Ms. Like, where can you hand out a bag of M&Ms in your day to somebody? One of my favorite quotes is a line from a Rolling Stones song when Mick Jagger says, "A smile relieves a heart that grieves." It's the same, same thought.
Okay. That's beautiful. All right, my friend. Well, thank you so much for being with me here today. Don't forget, you can also find Jen Lehner on her podcast, which is
the Front Row Podcast for Entrepreneurs.
All right. I'll see you the same place, same time next week. Until then, stay inspired. Bye
and
for
stay
now.
away from fake Ozempic.
It was real. It just wasn't effective because I knew how to cheat on it.
Don't do it.
Okay, fine.
Thank you for listening to the Inspiration Place podcast. Connect with us on Facebook at facebook.com/SchulmanArt, on Instagram @SchulmanArt, and of course on SchulmanArt.com.
The voice impersonations used in the commercials within this podcast are artistic representations meant to share testimonials, reviews, and endorsements of the book Artpreneur. Please note that these are not the actual voices of the individuals who provided the testimonials. However, all endorsements shared have been provided with permission for public use. We value authenticity and the trust of our listeners, and we ensure that all testimonials presented are genuine and used with consent.